concerns.
I'd like to start off by, first of all, saying, and I comment on this a lot, I have tremendous respect for the chairman of the Budget Committee, Mr. Spratt. He's an admirable man who has a very difficult job. I'd like to hearken back to a day where bipartisanship on the budget worked. The year before I came into Congress, and Mr. Spratt was a key part of this. That was the 1997 budget agreement. That's when reconciliation was reused for its intended purpose. And that 1997 budget agreement, where you had a Democratic president and a Republican House, came together in bipartisan fashion to reduce spending and to reduce taxes. And it is that budget agreement that paved the way for the surpluses that then occurred and followed that helped us pay down debt. The fact is, Madam Speaker, that both parties should claim credit for that job and that improvement in our fiscal situation, for bringing those surpluses, for balancing the budget, and for having a substantial contribution to debt reduction. Both parties did that. Both parties should get credit for that. But here we are today, taking this process that has been used to good effect in the past, fulfilling the spirit of the process, and we're just turning it upside down. Let's review the contents of this. We very well might have, with little as 35 hours of debate between the two chambers and no more than 105 hours of debate, because of this fast-track procedure, the greatest transformation of our federal government since the New Deal. Let's review the issues. Taxes. What this budget proposes to do is to impose a new national energy tax on everybody who consumes energy, a tax on manufacturing, a tax on coal-burning states like my own, a tax that's bad for our economy. Higher taxes on small businesses, higher taxes on investments, higher taxes in a recession. We proposed an alternative in our budget. We said no. Let's not raise taxes in a recession, and let's make our businesses more competitive in the global economy so we can create jobs in this recession. That was rejected. Now they're steamrolling these tax increases through with very little debate, very few amendments. Let's talk about cap and trade. The chairman gave an articulate defense for how cap and trade is not happening here. It's not in this budget. Well, then why on earth is the Commerce Committee marking up cap and trade legislation next week? They're having hearings right now, and they're marking this bill up next week and bringing it to the floor. Here's the problem with cap and trade. We don't think it works. Even if you think you have a carbon problem, hitting our economy with this, while our very competitors in China and India won't do it, will not even reduce carbon in the atmosphere. It will actually increase carbon, but from China and India. For every 1 ton of greenhouse gases we reduce in America, China increases theirs by 3 or 4 tons. We lose our manufacturing jobs, they get the jobs, they emit carbon in the atmosphere. There's more carbon in the atmosphere and America has less jobs. How is that a good idea? We proposed an alternative in our budget. We said, let's drill for oil and gas in our own country where we have a lot of it. Let's invest the proceeds of it in a clean energy trust fund so we innovate our way toward a clean energy system. So we innovate our way for nuclear, clean coal, renewables, biomass, wind, solar, all these things, fuel cells. Americans are innovators. Let's not hit ourselves with a huge energy tax that costs jobs. Let's innovate our way out of this problem to a cleaner energy economy. That's our alternative. That was rejected, and now this cap and trade thing could get swept through with as little as 35 hours of debate. Let's talk about health care. I just came from the Ways and Means Committee, another committee I serve on, before coming to the floor here today, where they're discussing how in the budget reconciliation they're going to have a new health care plan that has a government-run plan option. Problem with the government-run plan option is it quickly becomes a government-run plan monopoly. One of the leading health insurance actuaries in America are telling us, the Lewin Group, that as many as 120 million Americans will lose their private health insurance under this government-run plan option. This is government-run health care. It may not say it in name. It may not be what it says it's going to do tomorrow, but it is clearly what all the actuaries and the economists are telling us what it becomes. The advocates in the Ways and Means Committee are already telling us, why have private health insurance in the first place? Let's just have the government run it all. So clearly the intention is being made known, and this confiscation of 17% of our economy will run through Congress with as little as 35 hours of debate. This is what we're talking about. Should we have a government takeover of health care in America? Let's have a debate about that. Let's not have 35 hours of debate. Should we impose the largest energy tax in the history of this country on our manufacturers, on seniors, on the upper Midwest where we have cold winters, or should we just ram this thing through with 35 hours of debate? Should we hit our economy in the middle of a recession with the largest tax increase in history, ram it through with no amendments with as little as 35 hours of debate? Should we transform the federal government, the largest transformation we have not seen since the New Deal, with as little as 35 hours of debate? We think no. And we agree with the Democrats in the Senate who agree with us that the answer should be no. Let's concur with the Senate Democrats. Let's pass this motion to instruct, and let's give America democracy and debate.